L'Assemblée va...
The Assembly will now hear a statement by His Excellency Mr. Arthur Peter Mutharika, President of the Republic of Malawi.
Au nom de l'Assemblée générale,
On behalf of the General Assembly, I have the honor to welcome to the United Nations His Excellency Mr. Arthur Peter Mutharika, President of the Republic of Malawi, and I invite him to address the Assembly.
Your Excellency, Mr. Miroslav Lajak, President of the General Assembly, Your Excellency, Madam Amina Mohammed, Deputy Secretary General of the United Nations, Your Excellencies, Heads of State and Government, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen. The cause that drives us today is that we are one humanity on one planet. This is a tie that binds us all, and all our differences and national interests are secondary to this overriding cause. The United Nations was founded to safeguard the human race, its human rights, and its potential. We are here to protect people, their existence, and their rights. We are here to ensure that the potential of every people, everywhere, fully blossom into flowers of hope. It is our sacred duty of our generation to take actions that offer hope to next generations. It is therefore befitting that this year we meet to think about focusing on people. For Africa, we should be focused on investing in the people if the full potential of our people is to be realized. The eradication of poverty and the pursuit of prosperity across the world should be based on raising the potential of the people we seek to support. Development cannot be taken to any people and succeed unless it is driven from within. No human community can take off economically without empowering its people to drive their own development agenda. That is why I underline the importance of investing in the human capital. However, it's also a foregone conclusion that in efforts to invest in the people and raise their potential need, our collaboration as a global family. Hence our appeal for concerted action by all members of state of the UN and indeed by many other global non-state actors. Mr. President, the adoption of Agenda 2030 by the United Nations reflects our global resolve to address the most pressing challenges in the spirit of sustainable human collaboration. Our unity among nations is imperative, because to achieve more, we unite and collaborate. The well-being of the global society is more assured when we work in partnership for development. At the same time, we achieve more with our nations with inclusion of all sectors of society. Statistics provided by the UN and the World Bank show that there is a correlation between inclusion and empowerment of women on one hand and economic growth and development on the other. Mr. President, the inclusion and empowerment of women begin with a focus on the girl child. We need to do away with early marriages. Indeed, I'm pleased to note a global drop of early marriages from 36% to 26% over a period of 2 years since 2015. Malawi is proud to be part of this achievement. Among other initiatives, my government has passed a law against marriage below the age of 18. By law, Malawi provides an opportunity for girls to grow, mature, and make informed choices about their education and future life. Girls are protected by law in this regard. I'm therefore proud to reiterate my government's commitment in promoting gender equality, women and girls' empowerment, in order to reduce the vulnerability of women and adolescent girls to violence and all forms of abuse. Mr. President, in focusing on people, one more critical category is the youth. Youth empowerment is a means of achieving inclusion. According to 2015 African Economic Outlook, Africa has the fastest growing and most youthful population in the world. In giving the youth the focus they deserve, the African Union agreed in 2015 to make 2017 the year of the youth. This is the year we focus on investing in the youth. Malawi is honored to be part of the motion for youth empowerment while taking decisive measures that include provide technical and entrepreneurial education to the youth who have not had the opportunity to attend university. At the same time, we are also increasing access to tertiary education. One more category that needs inclusion is that of persons with disabilities. Malawi is reviewing its policies and strategies in education, health, and trade in order to foster collective inclusion of persons with disabilities. Further, Malawi has made strides in efforts to eradicate vicious and irrational attacks against people with albinism. There was a time when these attacks became rampant in some parts of my country. I'm glad to report that there have not been any attacks on albinos in the past 6 months. Mr. President, Malawi is committed to inclusive development. We have recognized that the majority of our citizens continue to depend on agriculture for their livelihood. But agriculture is a challenging sector, given the current climate variability affecting many parts of the world. That being the case, Malawi is implementing social protection programs in order to cushion the vulnerable people in our society. Our measures include cash transfer programs, food for work, school feeding programs, and a farm income subsidy program. Let me take this opportunity to express our gratitude to cooperating partners, including the UN, for their continued technical and other support toward the success of these programs. Mr. President, as we think of focus on people, it's important to pay close attention to the issues that affect most vulnerable citizens. Climate change is one factor on top of the list. For an economy that depends on agriculture, in a country like Malawi, where 85% of the people are in agricultural communities, crop failure is always a tragedy. For 2 consecutive years, Malawi has suffered alternating heavy rains, floods, and drought that led to crop failure and hunger. The suffering caused by climate change is evident everywhere. It is real. The people who suffer in these tragedies are not just figures, not just statistics, but real souls. Mr. President, we will need to feel the urgent need to collectively undertake sustainable management of our natural resources. We must remember that if this planet perishes, we all perish with it. This is a matter that demands our collective responsibility. Therefore, let me appeal to all member states to consider strategies and avenues of collaboration for us to adapt to fast-changing climate. Apart from climate change, our world is also collectively facing the threat of terrorism. Terrorism and conflict hinder progress and make the world live in a state of fear. Anything that causes mankind to live in a state of fear is an evil to be fought. Malawi stands in solidarity with the victims of terrorism across the world. We affirm our commitment to stand against all forms of terrorism, including racial violence. We stand in solidarity with victims of human trafficking, and forced migration wherever they are. Let me now move to the question of peace. Peace is a prerequisite for development. As a country, we believe in peace and necessary condition for human existence. For this reason, Malawi has been active in peacekeeping and peace-building operations of the United Nations and also the African Union. Today, Malawi reaffirms its commitment to continue as an envoy of peace. We believe it's our duty to humanity. With that, in protecting your neighbors, you will protect yourself. While we also seek peace as an extra condition of existence, we face the threat of nuclear weapons. Nuclear weapons are an existential threat to humanity. The threat of nuclear weapons is a concern to us all. Ironically, if those nations who keep nuclear weapons get concerned with this threat, the idea of keeping nuclear weapons questions the wisdom of mankind. Let me express categorically my government's approval of the spread of ballistic missile technology. This should not be tolerated in any way by any member state of the United Nations. There is no country that's too small to contribute to the peace agenda of the world. There is no continent that is too poor to be part of the global peace agenda. Malawi strongly supports African position for the full representation of the continent on the Security Council. The United Nations can no longer claim to lead in democracy, while sideline a representation of 1.2 billion people from Africa. How can we claim to be in unity with those we exclude? Africa must be included on the table of global governance. Our rising Africa is always ready to play her role in the global community, and Malawi will continue to be a global player. I thank you for your attention.
Au nom de l'Assemblée,
On behalf of the General Assembly, I wish to thank the President of the Republic of Malawi for the statement just made. May I request representatives to remain seated while we greet the head of state.